Why does watching 3 hours of Netflix feel effortless, but spending 30 minutes studying or working out feels like physical torture? We often beat ourselves up over this. We call it laziness. We say we lack willpower. We look at highly disciplined people, the CEOs, the elite athletes, and assume they are just built differently. They must like the pain. But what if I told you that discipline has almost nothing to do with grit or moral character, and everything to do with neurochemistry? The truth is, your brain is wired to seek rewards. The problem isn't that you are broken. The problem is that your reward pathways have been hijacked by the modern world. Today on Psychology Every Day, we're going to pop the hood on your brain's motivation engine. We're going to explain the real science of dopamine, debunk the myths of the dopamine detox, and show you how to literally rewire your brain so that disciplined hard work actually feels good. To understand why you hate discipline, we have to understand dopamine. And there is a massive misconception here. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure molecule. That's not quite right. Dopamine isn't the feeling of enjoying the reward. It's the feeling of desire that pushes you toward the reward. Think of dopamine as the fuel injector of your brain's engine. It doesn't make you happy, it makes you hunt. It's the evolutionary chemical that got our ancestors off the ground to chase a woolly mammoth because they anticipated food. It is the molecule of more. Here is where things go wrong in the 21st century. For thousands of years, our dopamine baseline was relatively stable. You did something hard, hunting, gathering, building. You got a moderate dopamine spike. Today, we live in an environment saturated with what psychologists call super stimuli. Scrolling TikTok or Instagram, eating highly processed sugar, watching pornography, playing high-intensity video games. These things don't just trigger a little dopamine, they flood your system with it. They press the more button in your brain thousands of times a day without you having to put in any real effort. We call this cheap dopamine. Here's the catch. Your brain is designed to seek homeostasis balance. If you constantly flood it with huge spikes of cheap dopamine, your brain adapts by downregulating its receptors. It's like listening to loud music all day. Eventually, you go deaf to normal volumes. When your baseline is messed up by super stimuli, normal, healthy activities like reading, exercising, or working on a long-term project don't even register. They feel terribly boring because they can't compete with the chemical fireworks of your phone. Discipline feels hard because your brain is chemically addicted to the easy path. So, how do we fix it? You've probably heard of a dopamine detox or dopamine fasting. There's a lot of pseudoscience around this. You cannot detox from dopamine. You die. You need it to move your muscles. What a real dopamine detox means is resensitizing your receptors. It means lowering the volume of the noise so you can hear the music again. A practical detox isn't about living like a monk in a cave. It's about strategically removing the sources of cheap dopamine for a set period of time, usually 24 hours to a week, to reset that baseline. No social media, no junk food, no video games. The goal is to allow your brain's reward system to heal, so that lower stimulation activities start to feel rewarding again. But a detox is just the reset button. How do we actually rewire the brain to enjoy discipline long term? We have to shift from consuming cheap dopamine to creating earned dopamine. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about this concept extensively. The goal is to start attaching dopamine release, not just to the outcome, getting the A+, hitting the goal weight, but to the effort process itself. Here are 3 steps to do that. Step 1, embrace the boredom. When you start a difficult task, the first 10 minutes are excruciating. Your brain is screaming for its usual fix. This is called limbic friction. The mistake people make is trying to distract themselves from this feeling. Instead, you must lean into it. Recognize that this friction isn't a signal to stop. It's merely your brain throwing a tantrum because it wants candy instead of vegetables. By sitting in that boredom without giving in, you are actively retraining your baseline. Step 2. The subjective reward trick. This is crucial. You cannot wait until the end of a 6-month project to feel good. You need to manually trigger dopamine during the hard work. You do this by subjectively rewarding effort. When you are in the middle of a grueling workout or a complex study session, pause and consciously think, "This pain means I'm getting better. I am doing the thing I said I would do." It sounds silly, but you are intellectually teaching your brain to associate the feeling of effort with the feeling of success. You are hacking the system to release dopamine during the friction. And finally, step 3, protect your morning. If the first thing you do when you wake up is blast your brain with social media, you have already lost the day. You've spiked your dopamine cheaply, and everything else will feel boring by comparison. Keep the first hour of your day low stimulation to protect your baseline. Discipline is not about suffering. It's about freedom. It's about freeing yourself from the slavery of immediate impulses so you can achieve what you actually want. When you rewire your relationship with dopamine, hard work doesn't necessarily become fun like a video game is fun, but it becomes deeply, profoundly satisfying. And that is a much better feeling. Are you addicted to cheap dopamine? Let me know in the comments what your biggest super stimulus vice is. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Psychology Every Day to keep upgrading your brain. Thanks for watching.